estimating RIR and are significantly and largely way behind the rest. Tell us the story.
Great question. And according to the Mike Menser crowd, I actually have a PhD in being a wuss, because my PhD was specifically on auto-regulating powerlifting training using an RIR-based perceived exertion model. So after studying for years for a wuss, I have learned some things. And the one thing that is actually challenging to answer about that question is what is going on in the real world. Because when you do experimentally test people's RIR accuracy, I can't say with confidence that that's the same as the type of RIR accuracy that people have in the real world in all cases. And I'll tell you why. The way we measure RIR accuracy is by actually having people go to a target RIR, typically, on bench press, and then they'll stop at lockout, and they'll call out when they think they're at a target RIR that we set for them.
So like 2 RIR.
Correct. Call out when you think you're at a 2. Great. And then we go, keep going. And then the spotter takes a smoke break and you die.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you for participating.
No problem. So so essentially what we do is we calculate the difference between predicted RIR when you said 2 versus how many reps did you get when you're being motivated.
When you push them further, you see the difference. And you're like, okay, you actually got 10 reps, you stopped at what you thought was 2 RIRs, 8. It turns out you were 100% correct.
Exactly. And then we measure also what's called RIR directionality, because there's multiple ways to fail, right? So you could say, I got 2 more and you get 1. You could say, I get 2 more and you can get 3. Both of those are an RIR difference for an absolute value of 1. But if we assess the directionality, is it a negative or positive number on average in the groups, then we can see if they're trending towards, with that accuracy, towards undershooting and thinking that they're closer to failure than they are, overshooting and pulling kind of the bro on Instagram thing of, yeah, that was definitely a 9.5, and like you actually are on the ground while you're saying it, right? So over times, depending on who I've talked to on the internet and the comments, people will level the critique that people are always saying they have, well, they don't, kind of like these, ego lifters. Or, exactly. Or if you have a cult based around being an egoed out lifter, aka HIT, then
I'm kidding.
Dogma's bad. Then the critique is, now they're not actually going to failure. You don't know what true failure is. And I think that is one that is, I can understand the position, and I can understand why they might be skeptical of the research. But there's not many other ways to really ensure the RIR accuracy. Now you can look at the critique at that model, where you do it to a predicted RIR, and then you go to failure, look at the difference, and you see where it is, that maybe that's not actually valid because there's expectation. If I say 2, I'm probably going to do 2. And I would say there could possibly be an effect of that. But it's not the only tool we have to estimate that. But I will say the data using that method of comparing predicted versus actual RIR,
Bringing people who train out in the world, say whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Hit them up with a work set that they're warmed up to.
Yep.
You say, tell us, let's say 2 RIR when that happens. So it doesn't happen, so you're fucking like, go, and see how many more reps.
Exactly. I've been in 3 different labs, including my own. Dr. Zerdos is out in FAU, and also Darren Kandow's lab in Canada, University of Regina. And then there's also other research that's been done. Regina.
It's a V or R?
Regina. Yeah.
Got it.
Yes. There's also work that's been done out of Daniel Hackett's lab in University of Sydney. So all these various independent labs have done this type of research.
Bought sold by Big Failure.
Big RIR.
Big RIR,
yeah,
which is bigger than Big
no
failure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's right.
That got conglomerate.
Almost as big as Big Volume. So with these 4 labs that I'm aware